and they multiplied that frequency 1 point something gigahertz times pi, and got what was it, 4.463 gigahertz. That's the frequency that they were listening on. And the idea there was that if it's intelligent life, they're going to know what pi is, and they're going to know what hydrogen is, and so that's the idea there. Let me see if I can bring up some clips here. There we go. All right, so I'll play some clips here and comment on it a little bit.
Shouldn't be here.
So that was the beginning of the thing. It's, this is kind of weird, right? I was trying to figure out why this was in the beginning. Why this was in the beginning? What if there was some sort of alien thing that was pointing at this particular point, this particular spot on Earth, or what was going on there? It was just. It was very confusing, and they never explained it other than that it was global warming, So it's kind of weird to have this. The whole thing was weird, right? And she's the first. The thing is, it's Charlie Sheen, right? That's what that was at the very beginning. But then they have her in there first, and then in the credits, she gets top credits, right? Because it's in order of appearance. So that was kind of interesting. Let's see what else we got here.
If you leave now, but do not talk to any strangers on the way out. I'll see you at my place in 83 minutes, okay?
You swear you'll be there, Zane? I really don't want a repeat of last week.
Look, if I say I'm going to be there, I will be there. End of story. There is nothing more important to me right now than that.
So they're detecting the signal. This isn't how it works. This isn't how when they search for signals and stuff. They don't sit there and listen to it on a speaker, But it's just the computer that's sorting through it. This is Hollywood, so that's how they do it. Contact did the same thing. I'll play some clips from Contact too, so you can see the difference between this and that. On this one, the detection of the signal was kind of important, but it wasn't like the main part of the movie. In Contact, that was almost the main part of the movie, was the detection of the signal. So what they're doing here is this is early on, and they're developing the character and a relationship of the character with Char, the one played by Terry Polo. They're kind of outlining their relationship and developing the character and doing all that, all while they're also moving the plot along. So that's good writing. This guy is Tumi Tui is a he's a writer. That's his thing, I think this was his first. Well, this was his second movie that he did as a director. He did a pretty good job as the director too. The writing, it's well written. So.
Nice imagery to the modulation.
Detection protocol, now!
Zane!
Confirmation phase 1.
Swing dish 5 degrees off axis.
And signal fades, looking good.
Now swing dish back on target.
And signal returns. Definitely sky-based. Wolf 336, you are howling.
Oh!
Ow, ow, ow! Phase 2.
Initiating software check.
Jumping ahead to phase 3, second source verification. Who's still online? Green Bank? Ohio State? Moffett Field.
Checking here, still checking.
Be there. Just be there. We gotta get another ear on this thing.
Software self-checks. Phase 2 complete. I'm just waiting
Oh,
on.
come on, Moffett. You're killing me. I'm dying here. Just pick up the phone so we can confirm this.
All right, so they have this little book, right, that they go to, and a lot of, you know, when you see that NASA and or military things, or situations where there's some sort of urgent thing where they got to go through the procedures because they don't want to try to, if it's really important, they don't want to leave it up to people thinking on the spot or whatever. So they went through the little procedure book, what to do when they hear the aliens. This is what they have to do. And they took this is like a directional antenna, right? A dish. It's very highly directional. And so they move it off axis and move it back on axis. I don't know, 5%. I guess that. So they move it off axis, move it back off on axis, and that kind of tells whether it's something just coming locally, from Earth, off the side of the antenna or something, or whether it is actually up in that direction that they're pointing the antenna. So that's what that was about. And then they checked some other thing to see if there was some other terrestrial-based source that it could have been. But they really didn't do that much here, They had that, and then it went away, right? And then the signal went away. So that's what was going on there. So now in contact, this is turn my monitor up here. Contact handled it. It was way different, much more different. In Contact, it was, and I'll play quite a bit here from Contact just so you can see the difference. So we played that what happened in the Arrival with the signal detection. They had a little booklet that they went to, and a little bit more, but it wasn't that extensive. They didn't get into the details. The part about moving the antenna off axis, move it back on, that sounds accurate, right? That makes sense. So technically, some of what they did was right, but here we'll do this one. This is Jodie Foster in Contact, which was when was that one? It was the year after this one, I think. Tui, who wrote the one that we're evaluating here, The Arrival, he was probably aware that they were developing this film, Contact, based on the book, which had been published, decades before, or maybe a decade before. So he knew what this film was going to be about. So I don't know, if he was influenced by that or whatever, but they handle it differently. I'll play this one now so you can see the difference in the way it's handled, and I'll just talk about each part of it as we play it here. Nobody uses headphones, right? So they don't use headphones to do that, but this is Hollywood, so that's why they do that. And so she's out there, and she's out by the antennas, which is kind of weird, right? But she gets it. She gets all excited. She hops in the car.
Ray! Confirmed!
Boss has a bogey.
Ray ascension 18 hours, 36 minutes, 56.2 seconds. Declination.
We're on it.
Plus 36 hours, 47 minutes and 1 second. Strong
she's driving to them and telling them what to do. Rather, and the other one in the Arrival, they had a booklet, a procedure booklet, and they went through it and the whole thing. In this one, it's just like, oh, what do we do? You know, or they knew what to do, but it was like they weren't going through using a procedure book or anything to go through it. So that was kind of weird. And so she's telling them to do stuff, and she's telling them where the antenna was pointed, which is kind of weird, right? She's telling them. I mean, they should know that, right? They're in the control room there. But anyway, she was telling them to do different stuff, and they were getting all excited about it. So it was a little bit different feel, much more dramatic, and it just goes on for much more too. Here, I'll put some more in here.
Hello. I need a full systems check.
So he sees the signal, right? The same idea, right? Sees the signal on a monitor, and they're CRT monitors, right? This is mid '90s or late '90s or whatever. So they're CRT monitors, but they're supposed to be set in that time period anyway. This isn't like something that's going to happen in the future, right? It's supposed to be like set in the '90s also. So it's okay. And so let me just play this. She's driving. She's yelling more commands to him as they're going along here.
27 the second we get there.
This is at the large what's it called, the very large array in New Mexico. This big dish array. It has 27 or 28 antennas. So she's telling them to move one of the antennas off. And so the way they were going to verify it was to move just one of the antennas off rather than moving all of them off 5 degrees or whatever, you know, to detect whether it's local or up in the sky, and a whole bunch of other things. And this scene right here from Contact, this you can tell there's a little bit more to it. You know, they're making this much more important to the plot. And they have this cinematic technique here where they follow her into the building. It's just amazing, and I'll play it just so you can see it. But this cinematography is pretty good. They got it just pretty well planned out and pretty well executed.
Source cue. Look, forget about it and hold the cue. Go get ready to set the target frequency to manual the second we're aligned. Did you copy? I want you to go off axis on 27 the second we're there. And leave the LO frequency where it is. Stay on it, fish. Don't let it get away. If you lose it, just scan the band. Run every frequency you can think of. How you doing?
That was just really well done. Like really good filmmaking there. And so she was saying again, you know, go point it off axis, put it back on axis. And she says, if you lose the signal and widen the band, right, they're listening to one particular frequency. So she said, if you lose the signal, then go broadband. You know, look at signals all along and other frequencies around it. So, all right. Let me play another part. This goes on for quite a while actually. So, but it's kind of interesting.
Check out signal across the board. What's the frequency?
4.4623 gigahertz. Hydrogen times pi. Told you.
Strong sucker too.
Okay, so that's pretty accurate. On hydrogen, I was kind of confused about this at first, but yeah, hydrogen they actually use that frequency, the frequency of hydrogen. There's an emission line for hydrogen that is created. I won't get into the details, but it has to do with protons and electrons in a hydrogen atom when it gets flipped, and it produces at this particular frequency, which is 1 point something, and they multiplied that frequency 1 point something gigahertz times pi, and got 4.463 gigahertz. That's the frequency that they were listening on. And the idea there was that if it's intelligent life, they're going to know what pi is, and they're going to know what hydrogen is, and you know, so that's the idea there.
Could be AWACS out of Kirtland jamming us, but I'm doubting it.
All right, let's see if
Fudd's reading it too.
All right, so he was talking about a terrestrial based, source that they wanted to try to eliminate. So they're stepping through step by step and trying to eliminate all the sources that it might be, that it wouldn't be aliens, right? So that's what they're going through here.
AWAC status is negative.
What about white sands?
And this frequency, no.
Okay, so that's just another source that they're trying to eliminate.
That's not tracking any snoops in this vector. Shuttle Endeavor's in sleep mode.
Okay, point source confirmed. Whatever it is, it ain't local.
Okay, so they figured it out. Right, that guy did his famous line from the movie. Right, hey, it's not local. It must be aliens. So this, you see the difference here between the way this one was handled and the other one.
Got it. Reading over 100 jet skis.
Jesus. Pick it up on my...
All right, so it went off, just like the other one. They heard the signal for a while and then it went away, and the same thing happened in this one. They heard the signal for a little bit and then it went away, and it comes back on again. Contact comes back on again. We'll do more stuff here.
Whatever the signal is, we better do something soon. Vega's gonna set.
Deposition is confirmed. We've got 4.4623 gigahertz. Confirmed. We've got 112 Jamskis.
All right, do you have a source location yet?
We put it right smack in the middle. Vega.
This was, now you saw this in the other one too, in The Arrival, when he picked up the red phone. Remember when Charlie Sheen picked up the red phone? He says, "Oh, we got to get this second source." That's what they did here, except in here they did it. They didn't do it to confirm it from a second source for confirmation purposes. They did it because he said Vega is going to set, meaning that the Earth is turning and the star that they were looking at was going to go down and beyond the horizon where they couldn't see it anymore. So they called this guy in Australia so he could confirm that he got the signal too. So I think that's all. I think that's all I have here. So back to The Arrival now. So the reason why Contact the movie Contact made such a bigger deal about the signal and went into all that detail and made it much more dramatic was because it's the main plot point, right? Whereas in The Arrival, it's important to the plot, but it wasn't the main part of it. The main part was the aliens being on Earth and doing climate change or global warming, that they called it at that time.
So what are all them dots?
They're satellite dishes, each one. You string enough of them together, it makes one big radio antenna, basically.
So this is when so Martin Sheen now got fired from his job. So they detected the signal. He went in to talk to the boss, and he got fired. Remember, we just saw it, right? If you just watched the movie. So his boss fired him, and he's trying to figure out another way to do it. And he's using people's home satellite dishes to build an array to spy on this alien signal. And this is the kid that he talks to throughout this thing. His wife or girlfriend or whatever is out of the picture here for most of the movie. She comes back in at the end, but this kid is who he. When you're writing a plot like this, you got to have some way to explain some stuff, especially it's a technical, sci-fi like this. And so you need a character that the protagonist can talk to about what's going on to explain it. He's really explaining it to the audience, but they use another character in the plot or in the narrative to facilitate that. And so that's part of what this character is for. And this Kiki character is also well, we figure out that he's actually an alien who's spying on him, but we don't know that until the very end. Oh, and this little thing here, this can you see that? Can you see my this magnifying glass here, this thing right here? This was back in the mid 90s, and so this is what it looks like 30 years later. It's all rusty and everything. It's full of rust and falling apart, dings all over it and everything. So that's what it looks like 30 years later. But I'm using it for a mic stand. So that's what that is. All right, so I'll play the next clip here.
What have we got here? Huge concentrations of trace gas here in central Mexico, Ecuador, Brazil. Look, you can see for yourself.
700% increase over the last 5 years? How can that be?
My very question. Just how accurate is this data you sent us, Ilana?
Yeah, how accurate is it? Not very. Look at this. That's not how math works. You look at that. No, that's not so. That's not how you get to 700%. So somebody screwed up here. Now I don't know if the one of the techniques that the fossil fuel industry used for a long time in denying that there was global warming is they tried to attack the people who were reporting it and try to discredit the data that they were reporting about it. And now this movie isn't the guy who wrote this, Tui. He also did Waterworld, and what else did he do? But anyway, he has an interest in this in global warming. Clearly, I mean that's because he did at least 2 movies about it. So I'm not sure if he intended for this to be this way in the movie. I think he would. I mean, or he didn't notice it, or how this happened. Why this is like this in the movie. I don't know if they're trying to subtly say that data about global warming is messed up, or what I don't understand why they did this. I guess what I'm saying, or even if Tui even knew this, that this was a mistake, or it was in the movie, or what. He should know. Obviously, he's the director, right? He should know that this is in there. But I would think he would know that that's not correct, right? Maybe not, though. I don't know. So, yeah, I mean, if you don't, right, you don't add percentages that way to get a higher percentage, right? These are percentage of this chemical. This is a percentage of this chemical. This molecule. That's the percentage increases. So you don't add up each one and to get 700% increase, right? That's not how you do it. You don't add percentages that way. You would either average these or weight them by the weight of each molecule or whatever. I mean, you do just add them straight up like that. At least you take an average, right? So it wouldn't be 700%. It'd be 200% or whatever it is, 180 or something. So that was. And I think what's interesting is what they say after the listen to what they say afterwards. Is this data right? It looks good to me. I don't know. Listen to this.
700% increase over the last 5 years? How can that be?
My very question. Just how accurate is this data you sent us, Ilana?
How accurate is this? You know? Okay. All right, I'll play the next one here. Oh, okay. This is real good. This is the scene where the bathtub falls down on him, right? And this is obviously a stuntman who's doing this. This isn't Charlie Sheen doing this. This is a stuntman who's doing it. And kudos to the stuntman for taking all his clothes off to do this scene. But it was really. It doesn't look like it was like done like it was CG or anything like that. It looked like that they actually had a tub fall and a guy jumped out of the way. But here, I'll play it, and you can look at it. You can look at it and see. So it looked like the real thing to me. It looked like they dropped a tub. The stuntman was sitting in a tub, and he jumped out of the way, and they dropped and it was an actual tub because it didn't move like a styrofoam tub or something. It moved like it had some weight to it, So I thought that was kind of a cool stunt there that they did.
Well, they say there's a twin for everyone in the world.
No, that's not it.
Look, you roll the genetic dice often enough, they're gonna land on top of each other.
Trust me, Alana, that is not it.
Okay. I don't know what to make of this, I don't know. Yeah, no comment on this. It's just so the guy who is his boss is also in Mexico, but it's not the same guy. Obviously, it's just that the aliens are using the same mold or whatever, the same disguise or whatever. Because the aliens are dressed up like humans, right? And they're using the same makeup, the same whatever to do that. And so, I don't know. I'm not going to comment on it. Okay, the next one here. Super sucker ball that cleans out that room. Here. All right. So it's using some sort of alien technology, right? That's sucking everything in the room in there, and that was stupid. Did it suck the bird in too? That was kind of they didn't need to do that. But one part I thought was interesting is when all this horrible stuff was happening, they had the guy he's blowing the smoke, like these emissions. So I'm not sure what the message the director was doing there, except maybe saying that exhaust of burning fossil fuels is messing things up, causing bad things to happen. I think that's what he was trying to say there, metaphorically, All right, I'll play another one here. Now this is silly. This thing here. So this is supposed to be the top of or the I don't know what you call it, the focal point of a dish, right? The part that actually receives the signal, right? How a dish works. It reflects off the dish, and it's like a parabolic dish, and the radio signal hits the dish and focuses the signal to the one point, to the the actual antenna of the thing. And for some reason, they couldn't fit this whole thing underground. So the top of it has to be out in the open where everybody can see it. Okay, that's silly, first off. And then the next part is they got this whole thing that comes up here. Folded, the steps fold up, and it extends this big, long thing that telescopes the thing way, way up into the sky. So why? Why would you do that? It's pointing up at the sky. It's a dish. You could have it on the ground. You could have it on a roof. You could put it anywhere. It doesn't have to be on a big, tall mast like that. The reason why they put antennas on tall masts like that is for terrestrial communication, so they can get through obstacles on the ground, mountains and stuff like that. Or if you're shooting up at the sky to receive or send signals, you don't need to be, it doesn't have to be in a big tall mast like that. So that's kind of silly. That whole thing was silly. I mean, that they even had it sticking out of the, dumb. All right, Hollywood. All right, let's see. Let's do another. Okay, yeah, this is where he's inside the alien facility now, and he's taking an elevator down. This is kind of cool. This is all CG, but it's 90s, mid-90s CG, but it's pretty good for that era. And I just thought that, the way they designed the whole alien factory there is kind of cool. I'll just play it. So I'll just play it. Talk about it maybe. That was pretty cool, the way they had that whole thing designed and all that. The gas, of course, is stupid. You wouldn't be able to see the gas. The gas is not visible. It's not, none of those gases that they were making are visible. They're not green gases like that. But I guess they had to do that for Hollywood to show people that there's gas being made. And then he dropped his helmet, of course, to drive home the point that this is huge, and there's a big there's a huge drop down there and all that, which comes in later, right? You got a guy who gets pushed out of the elevator and killed. All right, so this is where he the first time he actually sees one of the aliens without their disguises on, and this is kind of interesting. The grasshopper aliens. All right, so this is the machine that the aliens use to disguise themselves as humans, apparently, and this is his first time seeing an alien, and the machine is designed for aliens, right? Clearly, the alien is supposed to step up on there, and then it does something that puts this covering over them to make them look like humans. And they got the grasshopper legs, right? The legs that bend backwards like grasshoppers. That's kind of cool that they did it that way. I don't think I ever saw that before. An alien that did that before, so that was kind of a new thing on this one. Unless somebody knows of another one that was done that way. But I think this is the first time that I ever saw it used in film. That technique of the grasshopper legs. Apparently, I don't know. Maybe that was inspiration for this. For these guys. This is Agility Robotics. And they're trying to get Amazon to put these in their warehouses and stuff. Maybe they've already done it. I don't know. But these are little robots that this isn't science fiction here. This is actual. These are robots that this company Agility Robotics is the name of the company. Agility Robotics, and they've got these little grasshopper robots that can work in a factory now, and they're trying to sell them now to Amazon, or these maybe they're as a pilot or something. I don't know. But this is a couple of years ago too. This footage here, this promo footage they put out. So look at that. I thought that was kind of cool. So I don't know. Maybe they got the idea from The Arrival. I don't know. Okay, this is just more of the inside the factory, and the way that the gas is made. They explain it visually how that happens. There's the green gas, right? It's not gonna. It doesn't look that. Those gases don't look that way. But that's how they're explaining to the audience that the aliens are intentionally making greenhouse gas to cause the Earth to be terraformed so that they could inhabit the Earth. That's the whole plot of the whole thing. All right, so so Charlie Sheen's character there is trying to get away from the aliens, right? They catch him inside there, or they detect that he's there, and he's trying to run away. And so he gets the idea, oh, I know what I'll do. I'll use the alien machine to turn myself into... He wants to pretend like he's human or something. I don't know what's going on here. But what's weird is, I mean, he intended to go up there and do this thing. Now, why is he covering himself up? That is just so bizarre. Yeah, I just don't understand that. He should have done it just the way the other. I mean, what if his hands would have messed up this whole process? A lot of suspension of disbelief here, anyway, in this whole movie, right? When I first saw the first couple times I saw this film, The Arrival, I thought this was just some other actor that they stuck in here that had the same build as Sheen, and this was some other actor who was playing his part. But later on, you see that no, that's not what it is. It's actually Charlie Sheen with a prosthetic makeup here. So kudos to the makeup artist who did this, because you can see in this scene here that it is makeup, because he tries to talk and you can see that it's actually makeup. It's not just some guy, pretending to be Martin Sheen.
Do you want to see the ruins, my friend?
So yeah, did you see when he was talking there? Yeah, here, look at it, watch his mouth and stuff. See, this is all prosthetic. I think that really is Martin Sheen underneath all that. So that's pretty cool. And what was the way that they I don't know if you saw that, noticed that in the film, but the way the alien detected this guy is that he detected Martin Sheen's character is that he's sweating here. See. See, he's completely covered up by this prosthetic alien fake human stuff, but he's sweating. and the sweat is leaking out of it and filling up and making blisters and stuff underneath his thing. So obviously the aliens don't sweat. Earlier on, when they first caught him, one of the aliens saw him and saw that he was sweating and noticed, okay, this guy must be an actual human because he's sweating, right? So that's what was going on there. So that's how this alien caught him. So he pushes the alien out. And that line that he said was the same line that the alien said to him. The words that he said there. Please stand.
So which programs besides SETI? NASA?
Ask yourself why an antenna won't deploy on a deep space probe. Or ask how they could launch a $6 billion telescope without testing its mirror.
Okay, so this is kind of like conspiracy theory type thinking and trying to make people think that everything that goes wrong is the aliens, right? Or whatever. Oh, that's what this guy is implying there, is that the aliens are the ones who are making it, who are sabotaging NASA and JPL and stuff to keep them from detecting the aliens, right? Okay. I'll play this again and listen when he brushes up against him, or he bumps into him, right? He gets kind of aggressive there and bumps into the guy. Listen very carefully to the sound when he bumps into him. I'll play it one more time here. You can see it or hear it.
Sorry, I don't know what that is.
You know, it's that factory down in Mexico.
It's outside my knowledge.
One of 20 being built in third world countries.
Outside.
Where there's no laws to protect the...
So did you hear that when he bumped up against it, that sound that it made? That's they call that Foley. That's all put in there afterwards. In filmmaking, usually the mic, when they're actually filming the thing, all those little sounds, like people footsteps and all that kind of stuff, those don't get picked up very well by mics when they're actually filming the thing. And so they have somebody called a Foley artist, a Foley artist and a Foley editor who puts those sounds in there. And I noticed that on this film, I think they did a good job. It was the Foley artists really, the Foley editors really put it in there prominently, but not so much that it was noticeable or distracting. So I think they did a really good job on that, and that really helps in a film when you're trying to make it more realistic or more intense or whatever. That can do that. So that was something good they did. Okay, here's this. This is a scene where he freezes the aliens. I've seen this over and over, lots of different movies. This goes all. I can remember all the way back to The Blob. Remember The Blob in the 1960 or 61 or something like that? They did that. They used fire extinguishers or something to try to freeze the blob, and so this is kind of a trope in sci-fi where you freeze the aliens, you freeze the bad guy. Terminator used it. It's pretty well worn. But what's weird about this one is that they're kind of conflating the idea that the aliens don't like to be cold with using liquid nitrogen to totally freeze them, which would work against any kind of alien, right? Or any kind of biological entity, right? Just about. Anyway, I'll play this. All right, so he's freezing the aliens and they screech. That screeching sound too is also kind of a trope now. Okay, so he gets frozen, and then he walks up to him and is looking at them all, and it looks like he's going to hit him with the axe, but he ends up just cutting his hand off or something. bad guy is frozen. That's the scene inside the big antenna towards the end. Yeah, that was silly, right? I mean, having his shoes and socks sucked off by the thing. It's ridiculous. But I guess they needed a big dramatic ending to this thing. And so it collapses. It collapses the whole antenna, and then the ending here. I'll play the ending here where he talks to the kid.
Then you tell them. You go back and tell them that I know, that she knows, that others will know. It's not gonna be easy. Not anymore.
All right, so I thought he kind of overplayed that quite a bit. You know, it was a little over the top, I think, the performance there. And then the kid, right, turning into the grasshopper, or whatever, the alien, just kind of showing that he was an alien at the end, just to make sure everybody knew, that it wasn't just a human kid, All right, so... All right, so those are some of the, overall is, well-made film, reasonably well-made for the budget, right? It's not even a third of the budget of Contact and some of the other films. Also at this time, Independence Day came out around the same time as this film, which had a huge budget, big marketing budget and everything. So, considering, and this is the guy's second film, the director's second film. So, it's well made. And I mean, if you didn't even know any of that, you'd say, okay, this is a pretty good film to watch, or whatever. It could be a fun movie to watch. You got, suspend a lot of disbelief. It's not based on reality as much, as a realistic type sci-fi, but a lot of them are like that. So another thing that I do on films after we review them is to review them for inclusion, and how well they treat women and people of color, stuff like that. This was the mid '90s. Really, this is like 30 years after the Civil Rights Movement. So, the Civil Rights Act, anyway. So it's, they should have had it together by now. And another thing to put this in historical context is that this was shortly after the Rodney King beating, which was a big thing. If you're not familiar with that, was it 94? I think it was 93, 94, something like that. There was a well-publicized encounter this man named Rodney King had with the police, and he got a brutal beating from the police. And it happened to be recorded on videotape, which didn't happen very often at that time. Most people didn't have cell phones at this time, and cell phones didn't have cameras in them. So there weren't a lot of cameras out there that could video record something like that on the spot. So it was quite shocking for people to see this guy get brutally beaten by the police. A black man, and it caused riots, and it was a moment, kind of like the Black Lives Matter period. It was the same type of thing, and this happens periodically, in history. Something happens, and there's people get upset about it, and then they always make it go away somehow. They don't talk about it anymore. I mean, how many people are talking about Black Lives Matter now, And they should be. Especially like in film, which I'm doing right now, right? I'm talking about how they treat black people in film, and that's what I'm going to do right here is talk about that. So that was the historical context, and here now I'm going to talk about the way this film is treating women and people of color. Obviously, this Charlie Sheen was the protagonist. He was the main character in this thing, and everybody else. The two women that were kind of the main female characters were subordinate to his character, definitely. And in black people, there are only two. I only saw two that I could see in this whole film. I could only see, the only black character that had a speaking part was Kiki, the guy, the kid who turned into the grasshopper at the end. And the other, his mother was the other black person that probably got a credit. I didn't look to see, but she had a bit part, but no speaking lines at all. And so she appeared. His mother, Kiki's mother, appeared about 10 or 15 minutes into the film, and I'll show you how they show her.
11? What's your point? There's always something to give me false hope? That I'm wasting my life?
I didn't say that. But it's interesting that you did. Well, come on, someone is watching. Oh.
So this is Kiki's mom, right? The neighbor, who is, they're out there naked, right, on her balcony, and she's complaining that somebody's looking at them being naked out. That was kind of stupid. But what's going on here is that this character here is being antagonistic to the protagonist. The protagonists are Zane and Shar. Like, those two characters are the protagonists. And this character here, this is the first person of color that shows up in the film, and she is being antagonistic to them. And look at how Shar acts to her. Look at that. She gives her a look, right? Like, yeah. That's a negative, right? That's not not very good at all. And that was the first appearance of a person of color, and there are only two characters that I could find in the whole movie that were black. One was this woman, and the other one is Kiki. So let me play a few more clips here.
Makes one big radio antenna, basically.
But what's it do?
It lets you get close to the stars.
Okay, so the kid is in a position here of, he's demonstrating ignorance, right, by asking questions, not knowing what's going on. Although he actually does, and the audience doesn't learn that until the end, right? But he's in a position here where he is displaying ignorance, and the Charlie Sheen character is like, being his teacher or whatever. It's an asymmetric relationship, at least.
See if you get 92.9. K-Bump.
Greetings from beyond the solar system. That, my friend, is Voyager 2.
What's that?
Voyager is a planetary probe launched in the mid-'70s. They don't teach science in school anymore?
Too busy patting us down, see if we strapped.
I assume you mean guns. They find one on you?
Not me, just everyone else. That's how come them folks want me out of L.A. Crazy stuff going on.
All right, so you get what's going on there, right? I don't think that kid actually talks like that. I think they made him talk like that for this film. And they're talking about, gangbangers, and this guy's a refugee from, being a gangbanger or something. It's not good rep at all. Not good at all.
That's how come them folks want me out of L.A. Crazy stuff going on.
Jesus.
Gonna try again? Tonight? If you are, I could wait up and sort of, help some this time.
Didn't tell anybody about our little clubhouse, did you?
What am I, new?
How about your grandma? She doesn't care if you stay up late at night?
Not after 10 o'clock.
What happens at 10 o'clock?
She passes out on cough syrup.
Okay, really? So he's explaining that his mother is addicted to cough syrup, and so the whole thing was not, they just had the one character, really basically him, this Kiki character, and his mother, who was just not even barely a bit part. And then they have him diss his own mother and say that she's, addicted to cough syrup. So meanwhile, they're showing all the people who are the scientists and all that, and well educated, and working at the big companies and all this stuff, are almost all white. Here's the scene where this guy is giving his lecture, and Charlie Sheen's character comes in and is looking for his boss in his theater, and just look at the people in the theater here. So look at that, right? It's basically all white people. Maybe this guy's black. I don't know, but if there are any people of color in the back, and they're in shadow. So basically, you look at this and you say, okay, this is an audience of white people. Right? That's what they're doing here. So they're all. There's one Asian man he talks to there, and so. And this is in the context of a lecture, right? A academic, smart people, right? And so they didn't put any people of color in there. Stop speeding this up here, so you can, already 3.5 hours almost. Thing. All right, here's another thing, right? This is at the company, I guess, or something, at the JPL or somewhere. It's a wealth and education, right? And look at all the people come through here. Nice, well lit close-ups of people. Look who comes out. Look at these people. So now this is only one of two black background actors that I see. He shows up here. There. You see him? Blurred out in the background. They got a black guy, but they blurred him out. It looks like they may have even blurred this out in post, rather than just having a depth of field issue there. But there you go. That's it's they in academic settings and wealthy and all that, they show white people. And in black people, they're talking about gangbangers and guns and addicted to cough syrup. Okay, so this is outside of the company, this big company. Now they show one black woman here, background actor. But she's overweight. Everybody else looked like they were thin or regular weight, and she's overweight woman, black woman. You get what's going on here? You guys, you understand what I'm talking about here? This happens over and over and over and over. This film's old. This is the mid '90s, but this happens today. Films they make today, they do this kind of stuff. Yeah, it's all white people, thin white people. As typical of films of that time, was not too good on that. But there was another aspect of that, and that was the a lot of the film took place in Mexico, and just forever, Hollywood has always depicted Mexico as being, underdeveloped or undeveloped, or whatever, and impoverished, or whatever. Just a bad rep for Mexico all the time. And 100 years ago, yeah, maybe it's true. There's a lot of poverty in Mexico, but now Mexico is, I think, in the top 10 economically of all countries in the world. So yeah, that's not a fair to even in 1996, that was not a fair description of Mexico at all. So I wanted to talk about that just a little bit. The film did not treat Mexico well, did not treat Mexicans well either, I don't think. And when Martin Sheen's character he goes down to Mexico to try to follow up this secret transmitter station in Mexico, and he gets there, and a taxi driver gives him a lift, and the taxi driver's driving this old taxi, like 20, 30 years old, even in 1996, right? That looks like a 1975 or something, maybe. Old car, drives up to this hotel. The name of the town that they went to was just made up, San Marsol. It's a made up name. But look at this, just a totally not good rep from Mexico here.
Posada San Marsol, one of our much very best hotels.
One of our very best hotels. Now look at this here. When he opens up the door here, see how it's all looks like the paint is flaking on it or something. But then he steps out, and look at how nice this balcony area is here. And everything looks like it's like a manicured balcony out here. But that one door, they made it look ugly,
Senora, you see those things?
Let's see here. Okay, so he talks a little bit. Let me go forward here. There's look at that door. Now that looks like they may have painted that to look that way for this scene. Just tried to make it look run down or whatever. Because doesn't it look like it's like one of those? Doesn't it look like that it's been painted like a stage scenery or something? That's what it kind of looks like there to me. And when it would, like I showed earlier, right? I showed the scene where he's in the bathtub and all the real old fixtures, and the floor gave way, right, with the tub in it and all that. So the whole thing is just trying to make it look really, really bad. So bad. They gave bad rep for Mexico. It's not like that, that's not true. And I don't know why the U.S. wants to keep doing that all the time. And this is in the 90s. I don't know, but I think there's still that perception, particularly among certain groups that don't want people from Mexico to come to the U.S. This is how Mexico really is. Right here's okay. That's Mexico. That's what Mexico looks like. For those of you who only see Mexico through the eyes of Hollywood. Here's Monterrey. Okay, there's Monterrey, Mexico. Guadalajara. Okay, so yeah, watch out when you're watching Hollywood movies and stuff. It's just, here's some more, right? They're all Tijuana, right? Now Tijuana, I've been to Tijuana, but that was like 50 years ago, so it's. There were a lot of areas in Mexico that were not that were impoverished, and there still are some areas, And one of the things in the movie, let me show you a clip here in the movie, and then I'll show you something. So let me back this up here a little bit, actually. So it starts out here. They start out with an establishing shot here, and that's the L.A. skyline, downtown LA. So the idea is and which really confused me because I wasn't sure where this was. I always had thought that that JPL was supposed to be in Pasadena, and then they show a skyline of LA, and I go, what's going on there, But they're pretending like JPL and NASA is in downtown LA for some reason. So they start out with that, and then they're supposed to, this is supposed to be JPL. So here they show JPL, and this is supposed to be JPL in LA, which it isn't. It's in Pasadena, and then they go to the outside. So here's the outside of the thing. This is supposed to be the outside of JPL, right? That's kind of unique looking building, isn't it? So what I did is I did an image search on Google. Say, what is it? What part of JPL is that? Where is that? Is that really located in LA? Was I mistaken? So I did a little bit of research on it to try to figure out where, what was going on there. And this is what I found out. Yeah, that's it. This is in Mexico. So they were what they did is they took this, high-tech looking building in Mexico. This is the National Center for the Arts. This is one of their buildings there. So they took, you see what they did? They took on a high-tech looking building in Mexico, and they pretended like it was in L.A. and pretended like it was JPL, where all these smart people were. But it's from Mexico, and then the scenes in Mexico, it's like run down. Everything's, the plumbing is messed up.
You sent it. Yes.
I just thought it was very interesting that they did this. They showed this building in Mexico, real high-tech looking building in Mexico, and pretended and said that was in Los Angeles. At the same time, in the same movie, they were showing rundown buildings and saying, oh, this is the very best hotels we have here in Mexico, is this rundown hotel, So completely flipped that around like that. So that I just was just I had to share that because I found that out, and I was just so shocked that they had the balls, to do something so disgusting, to take a picture of a high-tech building in Mexico, pretend like it was a JPL Laboratories in LA with all these smart people in it, and advanced and all this, and put a bunch of white people in it, and then in the same movie show that Mexico is all run down with this rundown hotels, and Hollywood sucks, But I just wanted to mention that that film was not giving good rep to Mexico there at all, and Hollywood doesn't generally, and something they've been doing in the 21st century is they've been doing this thing where they use a yellow filter, whenever they go to anywhere in Mexico or Latin America or even Middle East now, sometimes they'll put this yellow filter over the lens, or digitally, put a yellow filter on it, so it looks like it's, faded or something, or you know what I mean. And that's just one of the things that Hollywood does. Some people, most people in Hollywood, a lot of independent filmmakers don't do that. They're bitter. And also there was this deal with the kid, the guy and the kid. This deal with this kid here. So I was trying to figure. As I mentioned earlier, that the kid was not depicted well. He's obviously, the actor is the actual kid, the real life kid who's the actor, most likely does not talk like that. I'm sure they must have coached him to talk the way that he was talking, and said his mother was addicted to cough syrup and everything else. You know, I mean, it made it look really bad. And this was right after the Rodney King beating. But the thing that's going on here, I was trying to figure this out. There was, I said there was asymmetric relationship here, obviously, and it's like paternalistic or whatever. And I think that what the thing is, what's going on here is that the white savior meme or whatever. You know, if you don't know what that is, you can look it up. What that means, the white savior in film and stuff. Yeah, or you can just watch the film. What's it called, Blindside. That was just totally. You know, it's a paternalistic type of approach, you know, and that may have been that the filmmakers, where they were coming from on this, they either felt that way themselves, or they were writing it so that the kid character would appear sympathetic to Charlie Sheen's character, you know, or something like that. But it just came across, you know, obviously, you know, the way I said, you know, bad rep. So yeah, they do that, you know, and this is an old film. I don't know if I think he did some other films after this, you know, it's hard to tell on a film like that how much of that is the director, how much is the producers, how much is it just the, you know, an editor or something, or even a prop guy, or you know, somebody who handles the casting for the background. And there's a lot of different places where they do that, where they inject racial bias into their films. So that's a problem with the film, and it's a problem with a lot of films. But overall, the film was, you know, it was well made. It was, you know, for the amount of money they put into it and all that kind of stuff. So hope that was informative or entertaining or whatever. And it's kind of interesting to compare that to what Contact did. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe we'll do an actual review. You know, watch a review of Contact in the future, because that was quite a film too. You know, the plot was completely different than anything else, and very realistic. I mean, it was written by Carl Sagan, right? So it's got to be pretty accurate. So maybe we'll do that film at some point. All right then. So if you have any comments, put them in the put your comments into the comment section. Give me a follow. Go to Twitch. This is a live Twitch stream that's just recorded. So if you're watching this on a VOD, then go ahead and get over to Twitch and give me a follow, and then you can watch it live, because you get a little notice that says that I'm live. Follow me on YouTube or whatever, if I'm still on YouTube this time. I don't know. So appreciate you watching, and everybody, please take care out there. And I'll remind you, as I do always, make sure you wear your N95 mask. N95 mask is what stops the virus. And a lot of people are dying right now. 1,000 people a week, more than 1,000 people a week are dying right now today from COVID. So, and nobody's talking about it. So I'm talking about it. Please wear your mask, because this is the most effective way to stop the virus. Okay? And make sure it's N95. Make sure it says N95 on it. Make sure it has straps that go all the way around your head. The ones with ear straps, those aren't N95s. It may not work as well. So, and make sure you wear your seatbelts. So everybody, thank you for watching, and take care.